family had a ghost named Marvin. When I was away at college, my dad moved into a new house, and he and my sister immediately declared it was haunted. I remember my sister texting me throughout the semester, wide awake at 4 a.m., because she was freaked out. She and my dad named him Marvin as a joke, but it kind of stuck. Marvin was actually pretty polite. He would turn off the lights when we left them on. I remember my dad and sister Skyping me, explaining the weird things that would happen. They would be watching a movie, and Marvin would turn off the hallway lights and bathroom lights if they were left on. Sometimes he'd turn them back on, though, doing this multiple times throughout the movie or show. These lights weren't on a timer, and they were the kind you had to push hard to turn off. My family decided it wasn't an electrical circuit malfunction, because every time Marvin would turn off the lights, you would hear the click, as if someone has pushed the switch down. Once, while I was home alone one day during the summer, I was pulling my hair into a ponytail in front of the front door mirror. Suddenly, I heard a man's voice say clearly in my ear, "Hello?" I whipped around, and no one was there. I was really freaked out, so I went for a run just to be out of the house and waited until my dad got home from lunch. We eventually moved and said goodbye to Marvin. I'm pretty sure he's still there. When I was younger, my 2 siblings and I would spend summer weekends away at my cousin's house. Their house was in this region that was pretty isolated and full of farmlands. I remember one day, when I was maybe 8 or 9, it was particularly hot. Their house didn't have AC. While the temperatures cooled down at night, it was still uncomfortable. I was sleeping in my older cousin's room with my little sister, and I woke up in the middle of the night because it was too stuffy. I decided to go sleep out in the living room because I had remembered that my aunt opened the windows and sliding glass door, so there was at least a breeze and circulation. I don't know how long I was asleep, but I remember waking up what seemed like seconds later. Before I opened my eyes, I had a feeling that someone was watching me. I was facing the couch, and when I finally opened my eyes, I saw a little girl sitting across from me. She wore a dress that looked like it was from the 1890s and was brushing her long, wavy hair. She was a bit transparent, but had a gold tint because of the street light that was shining in on her. I blinked, and she put down her brush in her lap, smiled at me, did a little wave, and mouthed, "Hello." I immediately shut my eyes, shot up, and ran back to my cousin's room. I remember only being able to fall asleep because I convinced myself that it didn't happen. When it was morning, I was the last to wake up. I walked into the kitchen where everyone was already eating breakfast. My older brother was in the middle of telling a story. Apparently, he had woken up in the middle of the night, too. He had also gone to the living room and was woken up by the feeling that someone else was there, too. He saw the same little girl and ran away just like I had. I freaked out and told him about my identical experience. I grew up in a very old home in rural Wisconsin. It was over 100 years old when we moved in, and the original structure was added onto throughout the years before we moved in. It was originally a one-room house. When I was little, my brother Dylan and I would always see and hear weird things. As an adult, we remember them vividly, but when we were kids, we'd brush it off, and our parents would say we were imagining things. One time, Dylan went up to our mom's room to grab something for her and turned around to see a little boy standing in the doorway of our shared room. The right side was always particularly creepy, and it was a renovated attic. And when I was a kid, in that same room, I would see my Barbies moving on the top of my flat dollhouse. My mom had friends stay over one night, and one stayed on our couch. He woke up in the middle of the night to someone choking him and was like, "There's something here, and I need to leave," and bolted. The real clincher is that when I was in high school, we had to get a new septic tank, and my parents couldn't find it anywhere because the records were awful, so they ended up getting a hold of the son of the original owners. He was 1,000,000 years old, and he told my parents where the tank was because he helped dig it out. My mom was like, "I have to ask, we've had some creepy stuff happen here, but whatever it is, it seems to like our family." She asked if the place was haunted, and according to my mom, when she asked him, his face turned white and blank. It was because his brother hung himself as a teenager in our living room.